Hello, I am John Cyber, and this is a presentation on how I think the US should regard its policies on the AI race with China. The US and China are major competitors in AI. Their relationship is based on the One China policy, which comes from three main communiques: Shanghai, where the US recognized China's view on Taiwan; Joint, which normalized ties and increased trade; and August 17th, which talked about the reduction of US arms sales to Taiwan. Currently, the US and China are increasingly trying to rely on each other less for economic reasons, particularly when it comes to important technologies such as the semiconductors needed for AI. This effort to reduce economic reliance makes the AI competition more complicated. Taiwan, a key producer in AI components, raises national security worries about depending on each other for crucial technology. Given the diplomatic history and evolving economic considerations, while targeted cooperation in specific areas serving the common good should be up for consideration, such collaborations must have objectives on verifiable terms and evidently benefit U.S. interests without compromising national security or intellectual property. The significant risks associated with broad AI cooperation with China, including intellectual property theft, potential censorship, and lack of transparency, necessitate a primary position of strategic competition. This briefing will explain this competitive stance by examining AI's central role, critical infrastructure needs, and ethical considerations for maintaining U.S. tech leadership. Data privacy is paramount in the AI competition with China. Their centralized governance and extensive data collection grants its AI developers access to vast data sets, accelerating their progress. To counter this data advantage, securing US based AI talent is paramount, ensuring our researchers have access to high quality, ethically sourced, and protected data, while robust domestic data privacy regulations not only safeguard individual rights, but also foster public trust, encouraging wider AI adoption and innovation within the US, thus strengthening our competitive edge. Complementing data privacy concerns is the vital need to concentrate AI talent and specialized knowledge within the United States, thus attracting, nurturing, and retaining a skilled workforce of AI researchers, software engineers, and ethical leaders will directly determine our capacity to out innovate China, which necessitates a sustained and strategic investment in education, research, and development programs to maintain this advantage and secure the confidentiality and integrity of our AI development processes. Two aspects of NIST CIA triad. We'll cover the third, accountability, soon. Modern warfare and national security is driven by AI. It enables the development of autonomous weapon systems presenting strategic and ethical concerns about human control over lethal force and accountability. For example, autonomous drones can independently identify and engage targets, lessening the need for human intervention while raising concerns about accountability in war. These capabilities also raise concerns about mass surveillance and the erosion of privacy via monitoring and tracking soldiers in conflict zones, as AI powered surveillance and reconnaissance systems enhance situational awareness on the battlefield by providing real time intelligence and threat assessments. Finally, these applications also bring forth ethical considerations concerning the potential for collateral damage and data security breaches, as cyber warfare is witnessing the increasing utilization of AI for both offensive and defensive purposes, where AI driven cyber attacks can disrupt adversary networks and protect critical infrastructure. AI also enhances command and control systems, allowing for faster and more effective decision making in complex combat scenarios through the vast amounts of data to provide commanders with optimal strategies and real time updates. Developing advanced AI requires significant infrastructural investment, including substantial energy resources and innovative hardware, but beyond its military uses. In 2023, the Department of Energy reported that U.S. data centers consumed 176 terawatt hours, which is 4.4% of total U.S. electricity, and projections indicate this could rise to 325 to 580 terawatt hours by 2028. This surge in computational demand from increasingly complex AI models highlights a direct correlation between AI advancement and energy consumption. The prospect of energy consumption potentially tripling due to a technology that has gained prominence in the last 5 years shows the urgent need for a sustainable energy infrastructure to support AI development and maintain our competitive edge with China. Specialized hardware such as high performance semiconductors and graphics processing units, GPUs, is crucial for these advancements. The dominance of NVIDIA in the high performance GPU market underlies the critical importance of specialized chips for advancing AI. Ensuring a stable supply of these advanced chips is essential for maintaining strategic and technological advantages, particularly considering the concentration of semiconductor manufacturing in potentially unstable geopolitical regions, a vulnerability China aims to leverage. To counter this, the US is investing in hardware through projects like the proposed Stargate supercomputing center alongside TSMC's strategic investments in advanced semiconductor manufacturing. Simultaneously, China is aggressively pursuing AI development through its Made in China 2025 initiative, including an 8.2 billion AI industry investment fund to bolster its domestic AI ecosystem and challenge US leadership. This fund targets key areas of the AI supply chain, aiming to reduce reliance on US semiconductor firms. China's strategic ambition is to establish a $150 billion AI industry by 2030, positioning itself as a global AI leader and highlighting the urgency of the US response. AI is improving quickly in part to continuous research in crucial fields. Machine learning is the main technology powering many AI tools, such as improved suggestions and self driving vehicles. This fundamental technology drives progress in a few AI areas. Natural language processing, NLP, which covers virtual assistants and real time translation capabilities, computer vision, essential for applications like facial recognition and medical image analysis. And this goes on. Recent research into large language models, exemplified by those emerging from Chinese enterprises like DeepSeek, demonstrate a rapid expansion of their software capabilities. The fact that DeepSeek can perform as well or even outperform Western AIs like Copilot and Gemini in writing math proofs for the USAMO or code generation demonstrates China is rapidly advancing AI abilities. Because Chinese AI is advancing and commercialized at this rapid pace, the global AI landscape is shifting. Chinese companies might become dominant or even influence global AI standards. So, therefore, the US needs to focus on ethical rules for AI and to continue to develop new AI innovations. With that background out of the way, we will establish some policy recommendations. First, the nation should prioritize investing in domestic manufacturing. This involves supporting the growth of existing semiconductor factories through measures like grants and tax incentives, like the approach taken with the proposed Stargate supercomputing center and TSMC's investment in advanced chip production. It's also crucial to encourage the creation of new semiconductor plants through offering financial incentives like tax breaks, simplifying regulations, and providing infrastructure support. This will help decrease our dependence on foreign production, especially in areas where China has a strong presence. Second, significantly increasing federal research funding is critical for foundational and next generation semiconductor technologies. Specifically, this funding should support dedicated programs aimed at designing entirely new kinds of computer chips that move beyond the limitations of today's standard CMOS technology. Researching advanced materials to build chips that offer significantly better speed and use less power, and developing cutting edge manufacturing techniques such as advanced lithography, which is just the way to precisely print tiny circuits, and heterogeneous integration, which is combining different types of chips into one package. To accelerate progress, we should foster robust public private partnerships that facilitate collaborative research projects with clear objectives and timelines, provide shared access to cutting edge fabrication and testing facilities, and support the joint development of pre competitive technologies. Furthermore, a substantial investment in education and training is needed to cultivate a highly skilled domestic workforce in semiconductor manufacturing. This requires a strategic partnership with universities and technical schools to develop a specialized curricula in areas like microelectronics fabrication, advanced packaging, and semiconductor equipment maintenance, alongside offering industry recognized certifications. Finally, to bolster our human capital, we must implement proactive policies to attract and retain top global talent in semiconductor engineering and related disciplines. This expands to streamlining these programs for experts in critical areas like quantum computing hardware, advanced lithography, and material science, and creating incentives for them to establish long term careers here in the US. Thirdly, diversifying the supply chain by establishing partnerships with multiple suppliers to reduce dependency on any single region is vital in mitigating geopolitical risks associated with China's growing assertiveness. This includes sourcing raw materials and components from stable and diverse regions and creating strategic reserves of critical semiconductor components to mitigate the impact of supply chain disruptions. Providing tax breaks and subsidies to companies investing in innovative semiconductor technologies, as seen with energy companies in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, benefiting from state level tax incentives aimed at promoting energy efficiency and renewable energy projects, can significantly reduce the financial burden on companies investing in sustainable energy solutions within the semiconductor sector. Offering competitive grants for breakthrough research in semiconductor technology, focusing on areas like quantum computing and neuromorphic engineering, is also recommended to maintain a long term competitive advantage. Given the diplomatic history and evolving economic considerations, the optics of the U.S. approach to the AI race with China are critical in shaping global perceptions and domestic support. While targeted cooperation in specific areas serving the common good should be considered, the narrative surrounding such collaborations must clearly articulate verifiable benefits for U.S. interests without appearing to compromise national security or intellectual property. The visual and rhetorical framing of broad AI cooperation with China needs careful management to avoid perception of naivete or weakness, especially given the significant risks of intellectual property theft, potential censorship, and lack of transparency. Therefore, a primary communication strategy should emphasize strategic competition, clearly articulating the rationale for this stance by highlighting AI's central role, critical infrastructure needs, and ethical consideration for maintaining U.S. tech leadership and safeguarding our values. Logistically, funding allocation should involve a significant portion of the federal budget to support semiconductor manufacturing initiatives, including infrastructure development, R&D funding, and workforce training programs, demonstrating a national commitment to this crucial sector. State governments should be encouraged to provide additional funding and incentives to attract semiconductor manufacturers to their region, fostering a decentralized and resilient domestic industry. The case of energy companies settling in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, only possible due to significant state level tax breaks aimed at promoting energy efficiency and renewable energy projects, highlights the power of such incentives in attracting specific industries. Simplifying regulatory processes for semiconductor manufacturing projects to reduce bureaucratic delays and facilitate faster implementation while ensuring new manufacturing facilities comply with environmental standards to minimize their impact on local ecosystems is crucial for timely progress. Developing robust transportation and logistics networks to support the efficient movement of raw materials and finished products and ensuring a reliable and sustainable energy supply for semiconductor manufacturing facilities, including investments in renewable energy sources, are necessary logistical steps to support a thriving domestic industry. Engaging local communities to build support for semiconductor manufacturing projects and address any concerns related to environmental impact or job displacement, and promoting collaboration between public and private sectors to leverage resources and expertise for successful implementation are also important for long term success. In conclusion, the strategic competition with China in AI demands a comprehensive and proactive approach. By prioritizing investments in domestic AI talent and semiconductor manufacturing, establishing robust ethical and data privacy frameworks, and strategically allocating resources, the U.S. can maintain its technological leadership and safeguard its national security in this critical field. The imperative is clear. Sustained focus and decisive action are necessary to navigate this competition effectively and ensure a future where U.S. innovation and democratic values prevail in the age of artificial intelligence.